Can we start now?
Yeah.
Okay. Good afternoon, all. Welcome to another self-discovery session. Today, Maheswari is going to present her self-discovery 1.0. I'm happy to introduce her. She served as a teacher and helped many students, not only in teaching, also in guiding and motivating them to achieve. She is 100% effective on moderate processor in depth and strong in verbalizing and bright prefrontal side. So she's a good people leader and good at guiding people. And I request participants to give their feedback after the session to motivate her. Now I call Maheswari to present her presentation. Thank you.
It's Maheswari, we can start.
Okay. Thank you, sir. And thank you, Suresh, for your kind words. Am I audible?
Yeah, please go.
Okay. I warmly welcome everyone who has taken your personal time on this sunny Sunday. I extend my warmest gratitude for taking your time off and going to listen to me patiently. I thank you, everyone. And moving on to my next slide. And who have made this self-discovery possible. First of all, I would like to thank my neighbor, Mrs. Rani, because it was she who introduced me to Mrs. Mangalambiha, who is my GDP counselor. And from Mangalambiha, I came to know about MiDNA Global. And that is how I came to view and listen to the speeches of the founder and brain behind genetic brain profiling, sir, Mr. Ratnaswamy sir. And I contacted Mr. Suresh also, who has been my mentor. And I thank Suresh here for being very patient with me, for answering all my silly questions, because I am weak with the technology. And thank you very much for mentoring me, guiding me, and explaining whenever I have got doubts. Thank you, Suresh. And I also would like to thank my training team, Bhartika ji, Kritika ji, and Pankaj ji. All the three of them have been very excellent while explaining their concepts. Bhartika is, she has offered so much clarity, offered so much clarity when she was explaining any concept. And Kritika ji also, she never hesitated to clear our doubts, whatever doubts we raised. And everybody has such a mesmerizing and her very voice is like flowing by, like a very calm river flowing by, and just listening to her speech is like almost like a lullaby in the sense that it doesn't put one to sleep, but it makes us more focused. And I thank all the three of them. I would like to thank my batchmates also, especially Ravishankar ji, Manish ji, and Anjana ji. They all raised such intelligent questions, and through their questions, I got some answers also. I thank my MiDNA family. I thank my son and daughter-in-law who had encouraged me to join this program. And coming to next slide. Before I start my self-discovery 1.0 information I came across recently. It was that there is some kind of direct link or connection between cooking and growth and development of human brain. And it surprised me. I've been interested in cooking. It was a piece of information that was because in prehistoric time, when man was primitive, and so much of his time was spent in collecting food and even eating food, that took up so much of his time, because whatever when he was living as hunter-gatherer community, it was his most important job, collecting and eating food. And also apart from that, he had to protect himself from wild animals. But whatever he had to eat, whether it was a vegetable or a tuber or roots which he plucked from earth, or it was a green leafy vegetable, or hello, hello.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay, am I
Yeah.
visible?
No, your video is not seen. I think I will put it just 1 second.
Okay.
Yeah, please go ahead. Yeah.
Oh,
now,
whatever he was eating, it was in the raw form, whether it was vegetable or root or tubers, or whether it was meat which he collected from the animal that
you are
whenever it
muted.
was in his time. Hello, hello, hello.
Yeah,
Am I audible, sir?
yeah, you are audible. Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you. And it was in the raw form, eating, biting, munching, and digesting that the raw food. It took up so much of his time. So he had a little time for other activities, little time for thinking, little time for using his brain. And I learned that it was when he was in Homo erectus stage that he found fire and used the fire for cooking. So after he started cooking and eating and digesting, it was easy job. He did not need so much time. So he had a time for other activities. He had a time for thinking. He had a time for using his brain. So from this picture, we can see that all these stages, almost the size of the brain is almost the same. But from Homo erectus stage to the sapien stage, we see that it has taken a jump. The size is almost double. And this picture also, when he was eating food raw, he had massive muscles and big jaws, and even very large teeth, and even his forehead was receding. It shows that maybe his frontal cortex was not so much developed as now. And as he started cooking food, we can start in the shape of his face. He doesn't have so much massive muscles in the jaw area, and teeth have shrunken, and forehead started growing. Maybe it is a sign that his frontal cortex has started growing. So this was the piece of information I came across recently, which I wanted to share. Coming to the next slide, who am I? This who am I question has been very baffling. It has been confusing me for some time. When I was so immature, when I was small, I used to think I'm a girl, sister, daughter to my parents, and then woman. When I got married, wife, then mother-in-law, to so many people, teacher, guide, like those things. But these are all roles, just like Mahesh, these are roles which I have to play. And then when I became little bit mature, then I thought maybe that real me is soul. But I do not have any scientific proof that I have a soul. And then I thought maybe I am the heart. But heart is just a part of the body, like brain is also it is a hardware, it is also part of body. Then I thought maybe mind is real me, because it is, and mind is like it is a kind of software, it is also part of myself. And just like the heart beats on, it keeps on ticking, the mind keeps on producing thoughts and seeing that what produces sometimes. And they say that every 60 seconds it produces 40 thoughts, and we cannot say that all these 40 thoughts are beneficial or positive or good, and some of the thoughts are fit for the waste basket only. Then I thought that okay, mind is also not me. My search is still going on. Sometimes I find glimpses of myself when I am with the nature during my morning walk, when a butterfly flutters around me, and when I hear the sparrows and birds chirping, and sometimes during meditation, there is some gap in between thoughts. At the time, I seem to be very still, one with the nature. At the time, I can find a glimpses of myself, but still my search is going on. And apart from all this rambling philosophical, I would like to come to hard facts. I was born in 1962. That makes me among my batchmates. This happens often. I was born in Virudhunagar, and it is a town in south part of Tamil Nadu. And when I say Virudhunagar, I always feel proud to say that I share my birthplace with a selfless Tamil leader Kamarajar, and it was to him that entire Tamil Nadu owes this industrial development and education. Such a selfless leader he was. Thinking of him, sometimes we feel that it makes one really unhappy and sad that we do not find such a selfless politician. His reign between 1954 and 1963, it was a golden era for Tamil Nadu. And I studied in my town, Virudhunagar, up to in a school. I finished my SSLC in 1978. SSLC in the sense that it was school final. It was 11th standard. After completing the school, when we have to get into college for degree, in between we had to do 1 year the pre-university course in college, and joined the pre-university course in 1979. And my brother only joined me. I had no idea what I am fit for, what I want to learn. I was so immature and childish, and it was my elder brother, who took the decision for me. He, thinking that I may become a doctor, he joined me in science group. It had physics, chemistry, botany, zoology, and unfortunately, we had no genetic brain profile. So if it was there, he could have found that I am not made for science. And then tough. I found it tough because that was a very reputed college, women's college in Virudhunagar. It's called a 3-week college. And up to my school, I studied in Tamil medium. And in college, that environment was so changed. And everybody, most of my lecturers and the professors were good, and university toppers. They used to teach everything. Not even my Tamil used so much of English during her lectures, and I found physics and chemistry I found very difficult. Botany and zoology I managed, but coming to zoology, I hated that lab part where I had to dissect the cockroach and the frog. And somehow that year I failed in chemistry miserably, not because I did not know chemistry, but because I did not English through start. So even when a student fails in a subject or two, he has the chance of appearing in those papers immediately and getting them cleared. And the same year, without wasting any time, he can get admission into college. It's very difficult. We had to appear in the paper only in the month of September or October, and we could not join college, so one whole year was wasted. And like present day coaching classes, we had to go to where I joined to study chemistry, and I found it was there. I found that chemistry. Remember that the coach or instructor, even his name is Mr. Chemistry equations, everything in Tamil, which I could understand very much. and somehow managed to get even first class mark. Then next year, when I joined the college, I took English literature. I told my mom that it is because of English, this English, that I failed in chemistry. I'm going to study that English and master it. This is what I told my mother. But actually, that is only partly true. Why I took it was I did that PUC in college. At the time, I saw that there is one batch of students who seemed to enjoy their college life to their fullest. They belonged to English literature. They used to come to college in the last bus exactly at 10 o'clock, and they used to leave in the very first bus. And even when they were in college, they had no special class, no lab or record work. They seemed to be enjoying. So that's the reason why I took to be English literature. But after taking it, I felt happy. I started liking the subject very much. I even started taking efforts to study. And once in one of my major subjects, that is fiction, I was able to secure college first also. And in the second year, I started developing some kind of ambition and game regarding my education. And I, with my friend, we figured out if we were A class mark in BA final, then that would secure us a seat in PG degree in our college. After completing PG, we wanted to join as a lecturer in our college. This was our plan. And believe me, guys, getting 60% is, it was not easy in those days. It actually was tough. I mentioned that I got in one subject the college first, and that was only 59. And being a teacher now, I know that now teachers are liberal with the marks, but it was not like that in those days. And we figured out how much we are lacking in all the 4 semesters we have completed, and now what is the number of subjects we have to year, and how many marks we have to score so that we can get little more than 60 at least. This is what my plan was in second year. And I figured out everything with my friend, and I came home, but my mother had other plans. She is a single parent. Because I lost my thought also too advanced in age. She was not well to finish her responsibility. So before I could step into my third year BA, she got my marriage arranged and got me married and packed me off to Mumbai, where my husband was working with the BSNL. So even after marriage, I continuously I had some nagging doubt at the back of my head saying that I'm somehow incomplete, my studies are incomplete. So I joined the correspondence degree. I completed my BA, then MA, then joined as a teacher in a school there, and I completed my MPhil and MEd. And believe me, guys, all these 5 degrees came through correspondence, and it did not happen continuously because in between, so many years of gap in between. I had childbirth and transfer. We came to settle in Tamil Nadu. I was and after coming to Tamil, I wrote that the TRB inducted by Tamil Nadu government, got post of PG teacher in government school. Then I studied my MPhil and then MEd. And MEd through university, I had crossed 50. Again, I was the senior most in my batch. 2023. I am with you guys studying Spark. And why am I here? Actually, MiDNA happened to me quite accidentally. I can say that literally I stepped into MiDNA. It was during my morning walk that I was introduced by my neighbor, Mrs. Rani, to Mrs. Mangalambika. My neighbor said that Mrs. Mangalambika is doing some kind of research work in brain. I got very curious. So after coming home, I got Mrs. Mangalambika's number from my neighbor. And because I'm so curious about the brain and psychology, so I asked her, and then that is how my meeting with Mrs. Mangalambika was. It took place, and I had my coding. That meeting was almost an eye opener. There were many wow moments during that meeting, and it happened last year, but I don't remember each and everything told by her, but there were many wow moments. And I was astonished and surprised when she told that I'm people-oriented person and my hand energy is weak and I might tend to postpone things which needed my energy. And then she told I do not have any inner conflict, and so many things, and that is I have come to be here. So I all is one effective with the right brain a little bit dominant, more dominant than the left. Everywhere, frontal, prefrontal, frontal, parietal, temporal, and occipital, except the temporal. Except the temporal, my left brain is a little bit dominant. Otherwise, everything seems to be fairly balanced and 100% affecting adaptive nature. And that temporal left-sided dominant temporal, it might mean that I'm little bit attached to material attachment in the sense that I do not want to spoil. I don't know. I'm weak with the technology because I'm afraid that I might spoil something. But even then, attachment is not so much like to people. I like and respect the people. I do not discriminate among them, and often empathetic. I put myself in their place, and I can understand. At the same time, my driving force is weak, and I suffer from chronic procrastination. My personality is emulative personality. This water personality, just like water. I adapt myself in every situation, and very soft natured. I don't expect the world to change, but I try to change myself according to the situation, and of course, praise and appreciation motivates me always. I I feel that it lifts me, it takes me to some higher level. And I learn from my environment, I learn from myself, I learn from people whom I come into contact. I learn from others' experiences also. I learn from reading, interacting with the people, and my environment always affects me. It is positive also, negative also. And maybe because I am emulative personality, I have picked up so many habits like reading book from my elder brother. I'm very highly flexible, and I do not like to go for confrontation or conflicts. And sometimes this high adaptability is also negative in a way that sometimes it makes me a kind of yes boss person at the times during work. It doesn't mean that immediately I have to project my views also, but when others do not listen, I don't force myself. This is my memory and rehearsal. I seem to genetic memory medium and rehearsal memory high, and they are all evenly spread, like working memory, long term, and sensory, all 33 point something. My episode is and whenever I do not mean, I do not say just that thing alone. And I tell how it took place, at what situation, and almost like an episode. And sometimes it brings it some kind of friction with my son, who is always to the point. He asked me to cut all that extra information and tell what happened. And I can give one example. Very recently, last month, I went to Varanasi on a trip, and then I had it was days trip, and I collected all sort of illness, sickness when I reached home. So after coming here, I went to my doctor. I told him, instead of telling him the I am facing now, I told him I went on a trip. The third day, I picked up a fever. Sixth day in Agra, I picked up food poisoning. Then when I reached home, I got severe cough and throat infection and cold like that. When I kept on saying, I think he got he lost his patience, and then he asked me, okay, what is your problem now? So that maybe that comes because of episodic memory. My echoic memory is also high. Maybe it comes from temporal, I think. I information under this sounds, and when somebody speaks, I attend more than their words to the tone in which each word is spoken. When I listen to a song, I listen to the tune more than the lyrics. I don't remember the lyrics, but I remember the tune, and that may be because of temporal being high. And my body memory, it is said that it comes from doing things repeatedly. So I enjoy my walking and riding two-wheeler. When I sit on the two-wheeler, it doesn't seem to be another part. Almost, I think it is extension of myself. It comes automatically, maybe because of body energy. I keep moving my body often. My son tells me that my head is not at all in one position. I keep on moving my head. And even when I was working in school, my teachers, they used to call me Sparrow. I am seen everywhere. Whenever a function is conducted, they say that you are one moment in office room, one moment in another moment you are in the ground, you are all over the place. Even inside my classroom, I never sit. I never sit and teach. I always stand, or I keep on moving in the classroom. Maybe that comes because of I do not know if I am right. This is what I think. And both my right brain intuitive, right brain sit higher than that, again makes me right brained person. Regarding curriculum, folk learner, I studied in state board. See, my potential is very low, primary, secondary, university. But I have to thank my adaptiveness. Maybe because I was and I could not do any multitasking. Up to 8th standard, my studies very good only. I used to score first rank till 8th standard. Maybe that is because of my adaptiveness, or because I studied up to 8th standard in a very small school, which I had only one section in each standard, and I suffered when I was put in the largest town in 9th standard, and that in that school up to 9 or 10 section in each class, and the total change of environment, new students, new teachers, and it was very tough. My 9th standard secondary was very tough, but before that end of that academic year, somehow I started picking up, and maybe that adaptiveness helped me. And 11th, I did not average. And the university, told you that how I suffered in my pre-university course. But later on, I studied. I liked the 2 years I spent in college when I was doing BA English Literature. And all the other degrees, I was able to get only by self-learning. Even though I have got so many degrees, and I cannot grasp everything at the first time of reading. Maybe it is due to my weak frontal and prefrontal. I have to take efforts, and I have to read. Even for this presentation, I have to go through that book and go through videos again. And whenever I study, I have to sit with a notebook, and I have to. Studying is not easy. It is not easy for me. Regarding my low voice energy, when I that voice energy bar chart, when I came to know that the blue bars are energy, it is given are our parents, and the red bars are adaptive. The very first thought I had was, I wished whoever gave me these blue bars, whether my parents, my DNA, my nature or God, whoever gave me, they could have given me little more. Because 53, 52, 50, 56, 53, you see how easy, but often sir says Ratnaswamy sir, and my teachers and my GDP council, they all say that it is what we are given with, so we cannot change it. But anyhow, nature or DNA, parents, whoever gave me blue bars, whoever had been stringent while giving blue bars, they had been abundant when they gave red bars. I'm very happy, I'm very thankful that at least my adaptiveness is high, so that I can, if I take effort, I can learn. Again, this makes me a right-brained person. That the left temporal alone, it makes me little attached to material. Not so much attachment, but fear of doing something wrong with the technology and the material or machine. And more than tool handling, handling people and being with the people, that is my line. And prefrontal, frontal, parietal, occipital, almost evenly balanced, 124, 126, like that, except the temporal. And frontal, maybe it makes me optimistic and intuitive. I am more spontaneous than analytical, that logical reasoning, analytical, calculative, not very good, not comfortable. Mental makes me more patient. I am more imaginative than logical. I see the big picture than going step by step method. Sometimes I see the whole picture. I see the whole future. I see the picture as a whole. Sometimes it leads to confusion because I don't go by step method. And parietal 124, maybe my body energy is more. And tool handling is never easy for me. Even when I cooking, I keep on dropping knives and everything, ladders, spoons. I drop my pen off, and so tool handling is something I'm not comfortable with. My temporal is high, and maybe that's why I think that I'm good in language, grammar, communication, interacting with the people. But again, tone and the tune are more meaningful for me. I listen to the songs of birds; they attract me, and left temporal higher than right. And my occipital 126, good aesthetics. If I have good visual also, I have also when I go for selecting very easily, I can pick up the best, which is liked by everyone. More visual like when it comes to sensory learning, I learn mostly by reading. Bit of sensory learners. Not much difference between intuitive, which is 49.64, and the sensory 50.36. Even then, I can say that a bit of a sensory learner. I have to do repeated studies. Studying is not easy for me. I learn mostly by reading, and I can visualize very well when I read a story or listen to a story. I go to that place. Imagination is high. I learn by listening also. But whenever I have to study, I have to write. My smartness and my profile, see that my logic is something more. I wish I had some more logic. It is the lowest among all the smartness. So only 10.3. And definitely my mind does not work like computer, and whether it is math formula or playing chess, calculation, and the technology, programming, they are not at all my strong points. But the word is high. I like to read and write and listen, can communicate with the people. I can make them my friends. I can see their point of view also. Again, myself, not so low as logic. I have difficulty in projecting myself. I tend to take backseat. I'm very soft on others, but I'm very hard on myself. And I put others' wishes before mine. And people smart is high, 11.6. I understand everybody's point of view, everybody's emotion. I love to help, support, and motivate people. I build a rapport easily. I can make friends easily. I'm sensitive to their emotions. And body smart also 11.5. I I enjoy outdoor, as I mentioned already. I keep on moving myself. Even when I talk in phone, I keep on moving inside, walking inside. I like to travel a lot. And my nature is 10.6, just like self. I thought that actually I'm interested in nature. I feel one with nature. Actually, it should be more, but it is less. Then during my discussion with my mentor, Mr. Suresh, he made me understand nature means that understanding the nature of an object. So technology, right? I may do something wrong and I may spoil something because I do not understand the nature of that product. So maybe that is why I'm doubt executing any task or technology. And my music is high, 11.6. And as I mentioned, I'm highly auditory, and I pick up tone and tune and rhythm. I can mimic birds when I go for morning walk, when I listen to the sparrows, and there is one kind of bird which we call chembotu in Tamil. I think it is a kind of cuckoo. It's very beautiful, very black in color, but little bit larger than cuckoo, and it has very beautiful red, round red eyes, and it has brown colored, golden brown colored wings, and it makes a very beautiful noise. And when I listen to the sparrows chirping, I seem to mimic, and sometimes I would tell my friend, oh, this that one is saying, this is what this one is saying. Is not authentic. I'm not professional interpreter of words, but I love it very much. And pitch is also high, 11.6. and I have good color sense. After my retirement, I somehow I came upon seeing some YouTube video in the stroke painting, which I liked very much, and I did some painting. And my very first attempt was very successful. It was very beautiful. I can do it taking much effort, but tool handling, I'm not do not know how to work out, but I like painting. It comes easily to me. Maybe my picture smartness, and I have a good example for being people smart, body smart, picture smart. I can give an example when I arranged my son's marriage. I gave one invitation to my friends, and when I invited, I told them you have to bring the whole family. I invited their whole family, my fellow teachers, and when I gave the invitation to my close relations and fellow teachers, I gifted them with a saree, dress material, and I told them when I invited them all the three throughout the day you are going to switch off your kitchen and you are going to take meals in marriage hall and every so invited definitely they attended my son's marriage. On that reception day I arranged for original group from Kerala for Chandamelam. It was enjoyed marriage after Muhurtam was over. I arranged for beautiful, interesting magic show, which made my guests seated on their chairs. They all enjoyed very much, and even till day, it has been more than 3 years since my son's marriage took place. But even now, exactly on his, they never fail to call me and wish. But they even tell me, my friends and the relations marriage we enjoyed so much. It still remains the same. This is an example to my people, body, music, picture, smartness, and cosmic is aligned zero inner peace. Definitely, without being religious, I am spiritual, but my mentor tells me spirituality means lack of we should not have attachment either to material or to people. But I think one little bit attached to people, so it has to be developed. I really have to practice detachment, and charity gives me peace. The one thing that makes happy, and I like now and then I like to cook, prepare food. I pack whatever I cooked in some 10 to 15 parcel boxes. I go to one called the Sivan Malay near our place where I am living. I live in Kange, by the way. Distribute Aram Sivan Malay. It is a small hill where there is at the top of it very beautiful Murugan temple. And Aram Sivan Malay, there are so many aged people and sadhus and sannyasis. I like to distribute food to them. It makes me happy. And think my genetic quotient and help learning high I learn from internet people. I like reading, listening, and I don't hesitate to ask people when I whether they are stranger. If I go to a new place, more than that Google Map, I rely on people. I don't hesitate to go up to them whether they are stranger and ask which way to go. And when interacting, sometimes I get a spark that motivates me. I enjoy teaching more than administrative work. I like to be with my students, teaching them, helping them, motivating and guiding them. Because last 10 years of my service, I had to act as assistant HM, which involved doing so much administration work, which I did not like because it kept me away from my classroom, away from my students. And next to interactive is introspective, and I see information in my mind. I don't see logic very much because analytic is very low, 32.52. I rely on my hunch, I rely on my gut feeling and intuition. Problem solving, of course, it doesn't happen because I ignore it. When a problem comes, I wait so that it will clear itself. I'm not keen on finding, but of course, I believe that there is solution to every problem. But sometimes I wait and I ignore it. And analytical very low. And since analytical is low, I cannot explain in a sequential step-by-step way. I cannot analytically explain something to others. And so when they don't understand my point of view, sometimes I get frustrated. And regarding my genetic quotient, you can see that my intellectual quotient is not even 20. It is very low and very weak with the numbers and years, and very poor logic and reasoning, calculation comfortable with. But quotient is okay, 20. I can manage emotion. I don't say anything. And I'm not angry often, very rarely. Occasionally I get angry, but I suppress, don't immediately burst out. And if I don't like something spoken by someone which I don't like, which is not to my liking, I just stay silent in front of arguing with them. Why you did that? Why you spoke like that? Instead of arguing, I don't argue with them. I keep silent and move away from the place. And I think emotions okay. And but there are times when I feel anger, but I don't express, suppress. I think I'm very empathetic. I understand everybody's emotion, and adversity quotient is also 20. I have that never give up kind of attitude. And of course, life has had its, I have had my share of defeats and failures in life. But they don't make me lie down always. I bounce back after every failure. If it is small, if it is life shattering, it may take days. But I come up. I see the problems as temporary, always some kind of, and that adverse grit and resilience in the face of anything. In the face of adversities, I have that grit and resilience. And my struggle for survival, it started even when I was in my mother's womb. And when my mother conceived me, she was so advanced in age. My father was almost about to retire. He was 55 was retirement age in those days. He had crossed 50 nearing his retirement. So my mother did not want that child at that time because she was also aged. But in those days, abortion is not something they take it easily. But she took some home medicine. See, this was never willed to me by my mother. But once my grandmother told me, she did not want a child, and she took some medicine. And you see, in spite of that medicine, I'm still alive and kicking, across the 60. So my struggle for survival started long back. And my creative quotient is the highest, 20.5. Very flexible thinker. I find so many possibilities and ideas for a single situation. I can see both the sides of coin. When when two people argue, I cannot take a side because I see and understand both their emotions. And of course, I'm creative little bit. I have written stories, published poems and articles in magazines. And after I retired, I started writing a book, and almost 90% complete. Actually, I should have completed a long back, at least before 1 year. But the self-doubt has always been plaguing me, has always been troubling me. And I'm a bit of a perfection addict. So maybe I'm stopped by my, sometimes I procrastinate, not sometimes, most of the times. And maybe that being perfection addict may be the cause of my procrastination. I want to do everything correct. I am plagued by self-doubt, whether the book will turn out well, whether it will be appreciated, because I need a push. So cooking or any other thing, I get enough pushes in the form of praise and appreciations. But the book writing, unless I get it published, how I will get the feedback? So maybe that self-doubt and fear of something going wrong, that may be the cause for my not completing the book, but I wish to complete it, get it published very soon. And a spiritual quotient, 19.9, I have definitely inner peace. I do not have inner conflict. And I am a person who thinks that ego, power, money, status, they are not so important, not more important than people. Regarding my disc profile, again, all seem to be equally balanced. Dominance 126, influence 127, steadiness and compliance. And it keeps me motivated. It motivates me further. And regarding influence, I'm very broad-minded. I can make friends, and sometimes I like to and steadiness makes me a very good team player. I can give cooperation, I can give cooperation. I'm a very good listener and a supporter. Of course, reserved before becoming very familiar, but once I'm familiar, very friendly. But slow paced only in completing tasks. And compliance also, compliance is the highest, 129. Maybe because of compliance, I have mild OCD. I thought because of complaints only I have this OCD. OCD means it doesn't affect my life. Very mild form, like double checking, rechecking the lock, and checking the gas. But during my discussion with my mentor, Mr. Suresh, at the time, he revealed the lack of focus. Because I lack focus, I again, maybe that is true. And regarding focus and goal and performance and the process, they look almost equal, but I don't wish to complete the task immediately, but I want to do it thoroughly. So sometimes sense also. For something going wrong and the fear of wasting something. So sometimes I'm very slow, more of a process oriented person. And regarding work, of course, people oriented more than task and technology. People person. I mentioned already that I enjoy teaching my students. I enjoy spending quality time with my students rather than sitting in office room, checking mail and replying mail. And regarding of course, I'm comfortable staying indoor, but that outdoor, going outdoor and interacting with the people, that gives me more energy. Sometimes when I stay indoor, nice energy. Regarding my subtraits, all seem to be almost equal, except my efficiency, which is low, 91, and self motivation again, that is also low. The normal is 0.95 to 1. And when we combine persistence and sensitivity, 1.02 and sensitivity 0.99, I don't give up easily in spite of failures. And because of my sensitivity, sometimes I'm easily distracted. I take things easily. Regarding self-confidence, that is 1.02, thoughtfulness 0.98. Of course, I'm confident, but I don't have overconfidence. Of course, all those things, and very positive person. And regarding self-motivation, when it is lacking, I have to develop my self-motivation. It needs to be developed further. It is less than normal, only 0.93. And patience, too much patience, 1.07. Maybe because I lack self-motivation, I have that self-doubt. I don't have the time sense. Maybe because my patience is too high, maybe that makes my decision making slow. If somebody else, I don't take decision immediately. I take long time. And if somebody else takes decisions for me, okay, it is good and well. That kind of attitude I have. Regarding cooperative, that is 1.06, and independent 0.95. Of course, I can give cooperation, I can get cooperation. During as assistant, I always had a very friendly relation with my fellow teachers. I can get their cooperation, whatever maybe the job. And some things, sometimes I accept that there are things which are beyond our control, which cannot be changed. Regarding my independence, I feel that it is still low. That I am plagued by self-doubt and the fear of not doing enough, not doing something right. Plagues me. Regarding friendliness and efficiency, friendliness is too high, 1.09, and efficiency is too low, 0.91. And my efficiency has to be improved. And regarding friendliness also, I think I have to reduce it, because I trust and respect people too much to the point of being cheated sometimes. And I have to be more rational, and has to be infinitely. Regarding enthusiasm and accuracy, 1.0.97. Regarding enthusiasm, of course, I'm a responsible person, but I'm fun-loving also. I enjoy the person. I think people are, money is not important. It may come to the slide reasset. You can see that the realistic is so low, not even 50. So I'm not a doer by nature. Not task oriented by handling, managing missions, not at all easy for me. And investigative, okay, 51, but I'm no techno savvy person. Even this learning MS Office is too difficult for me. Once I enrolled in learning MS Office, but I went only for a week. I stopped because I'm not comfortable with the technology. Maybe the reason is I'm afraid I might spoil something, I might delete something in computer. My son keeps on telling me, you have to work in computer, you have to check everything. But artistic is okay, 53. Of course, I mentioned that I'm creative, I'm writing a book. I enjoy giving speeches about freedom fighters. Every Independence Day, I used to give a speech about women freedom fighters of Tamil Nadu, lesser known freedom fighters. Once I wrote and recited a poem about Velu Nachiyar. As soon as it was over, my headmaster and chief guest, they all praised me. They had a goosebump and maybe it was dramatic. And once when I spoke about Kuhili, who was one of the, she was among the army of Velu Nachiyar, and teachers told me, you are usually so soft spoken, but when you spoke about Kuhili, you became Kuhili. You got her nature inside you. And speech was over, one of my students came up to me and she told me, Miss, it was not like listening to your speech. It was like watching Bahubali movie. Maybe I was so dramatic and emotional when I gave the speech. And social 54, of course, I'm sociable. More than machines, I like to interact with people, help people. Of course, I'm a peace lover, like a dog. Yeah. I don't handle conflict or confrontations well. Enter 25. Of course, whenever there is arranged in school, I used to associative among group. I like to influence and motivate and the conventional 53. I am bit of a pick. I guess that is the reason for my but the procrastination tank was both Bhartiga ji and Kritika ji, because once during the class this topic of procrastination came up when I mentioned both of them attitude. That's what I'm doing now. Whenever I feel lazy, whenever I feel like postponing something, immediately I command myself, Maheswari, do it now. And I think of them, I thank them. Coming to my next slide, that is MGBI indicators regarding energy, more of extroversion than introversion. And of course, I get the energy while interacting with the people. Sometimes, but I'm comfortable being introvert also. I'm comfortable with my own company when I am alone also. But maybe that drains my energy. And regarding input, I'm more of sensing person than being intuitive. I trust on hunches. I approach things random, not by step method. Regarding process, I am more diverging than converging. It is more than average. I think the highest is 52, but it is more than 52. There's too much divergence is not good. I think and there are so many, I can think of so many possibilities and ideas for a simple issue, and there's too much divergence. It is negative in a way. It doesn't lead me to solution sometimes. And regarding decision making, of course, I take decisions based on my feeling than thinking. Of course, there also I have to develop my thinking rationally, thinking logically. That needs to be improved. More of perceptive person than judgment. More perceptive, flexible, but I'm definitely stimulated by deadline. Wish had not pushed me, I might not have delivered my presentation. I prefer freedom. Maybe that's why I postponed. Regarding my personality, it is highly adaptive. I'm not at all aggressive, and since I am part of personality, I say go with the flow. And I do not have inner conflict. You see, my harmony intensity is too high, 9.10. It is too high. I do not have that conflict, but it makes me, it puts me in a comfort zone. I don't come out of comfort zone. That may make me lazy. One day when a person comes out of comfort zone, there is a possibility for growth. That's what I feel. I do not have any inner conflict. Conflict comes to me only from outer person. Since I don't worry too much, I sleep well, I enjoy peace. Regarding entrepreneur suitability index, it is not even 60. That I take a warning, not I should not invest so much money in any business venture. I should not go for business venture that involves too much money because it is low and maybe in the business. And this is and I have completed my profile and global synergy her report, and I have not studied her report thoroughly. I have just given prepared one slide regarding her low voice energy. 80% effective and 20% her frontal, she has the TX1 stimulated in frontal area, and of course every dominant frontal, that is left side dominant, frontal and parietal, temporal occipital side dominant person, and her processing, both the left brain processing, right brain very fast. It makes her take decision, is development oriented person. Always what next. She is a task oriented person. She very quick learner, and she is very fast in taking decision and executing the task. She has very good logical skills and good at judgment. When even with a single meeting, she can judge the people correctly, and just unlike me, just the opposite of me. And my independent thinking, she is not. This is where I study different totally, and I'm influenced by, yes, and she does a lot of questioning and very critical, and she has repetition of any kind. Maybe during my next presentation, I'll get my son's report also. I will make a comparative study of my son-in-law. I have come to the end of my presentation. Thank you for listening. Listening to this, to my rambling on so much. I thank everyone. I welcome everybody. I wish sir, Ratnasamy sir, could tell me where I have gone wrong. He can give suggestions for my improvement. I wish everybody to tell me whether I will make a good counselor, whether I am fit for going to the next level. I thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for spending so much time with me, listening to me patiently. The floor is yours, guys.
Thank you, Maheswari. Yeah, please unmute yourself and give your feedback. Right brainer truly is thriving on the appreciation and the motivation. Please go ahead and give yours. Yeah, the floor is open. Yeah, Bhavanaji.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, everybody. Madam Maheswari, thank you for your wonderful presentation.
Thank you, ma'am.
And congratulations, you have a thorough knowledge about your own report. And I can see that your mentor has done a wonderful job making sure that you have understood every graph and its interpretation. You have been, yes, I can see that you've done a thorough job, not leaving out a single point, and that too at a very moderate speed. and you seem to be a patient person, and with your teaching background, you'll make a wonderful counselor with a good understanding of GBP, and having handled children, you will be a wonderful counselor. So,
Honored, humble.
and also being a people's person. So that is very important, to be a good counselor, so that you don't rush through your counseling, report in a very logical way. So there are a lot of indicators that you'll make a wonderful counselor. And actually, I can see that you're 60 years old, and so this is a post-retirement job for you. So I must congratulate you on choosing the right occupation after retirement, because this gives a lot of satisfaction when we can help people and counsel them out of their difficulties. So I wish you all the best. And given your good understanding of a GBP report, I'm sure you'll make an excellent counselor. So please go deeper into it. You have the capability, and I'm sure you will take MiDNA to great heights. Welcome to the MiDNA family, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. You made my day. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. Yeah. Anyone else? Yes, Tejasji, please go ahead.
Maheswari ji, namaskar,
Sir.
and congratulations
Namaskar.
for such a wonderful, detailed presentation. For me, it was like a mini Spark training itself. Each and every aspect of report has been detailed very well. And I'm thoroughly impressed by your story, the story of resilience. And my best wishes to you.
Thank you.
And the only thing is, as you add numbers to the number of reports, number of profiling which you'll do, it will bring a lot of comfort within you. All the best. Thank you.
Humble and honored, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Ji. Thank you. Yes, my Pankaj.
Yes, good evening. Sorry for my bad throat. Good evening, everyone. And congratulations, Maheswari ji, for completing your ST1. And it is said that people who just prefer simplicity, they just understand the life very deeply. So that I saw in your slides also. And you explained very well everything in a very excellent manner, simple but yet effective manner. And it seems like you have absorbed every parameter of report, So I'm just, agree with Tejveer ji that it was like a revision of this Spark training, and hope this thorough understanding of yours will help you also and your network also to grow. So good wishes, all the best. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thanks.
Thank you, Pankaj. Anyone else? Okay. So we assume that the feedbacks are completed now, because we are already 4:50, and I can understand a moderate processor taking 1 hour for SD 1.0 is not a new thing. It is very natural to happen like this. I somehow believe fast processors complete in 30-40 minutes maximum, and moderate processors always go 1 hour, beyond 1 hour. Otherwise, they don't give the session. Either they don't give the self-discovery, otherwise they take little longer time. And obviously, you have lived to your design, your brain, UID. There is a coincidence that your mentor is Suresh Babu, and if you take his GBP and overlap on your GBP, it will be 100% matching in all the compartments. You can do it as an activity. You take his report, take the lobe-wise energy, and you take your lobe-wise energy, you combine them together, you will see a perfect match happening. And that's a great thing that has happened. Opposite thought process got into mentoring. And I think Mr. Suresh has got a great learning, explaining you about the whole process of genetic brain profiling. I think it's a great opportunity for him as well, I would say, in the process of mentoring you. Now, coming to some of the points that you said, there is one thing I would like to say. With genetic brain profiling, there is never anything wrong. Okay, it is never wrong. So don't keep that in your mind. I may be wrong. That thought process is, I understand where it does it come from. It comes from the moderate processor that you want to be right and you don't want to make any non-compliance happening there. So that I understand. So please don't keep those kind of words. Don't talk to yourself with that kind of thought process. At least with genetic brain profiling, you cannot go wrong. Either you will say less or you will say more. Okay? But it cannot be wrong because you will talk as per the data evidence that you are seeing in the report. You cannot talk it from yourself. And one thing that I think definitely you must have been told is your brain processing seems to be balanced left and right 50-50, but it is not balanced. This is a classic example of 4 lobes, right side strong, 1 lobe, left side strong. Put together, it looks like balance. This is where many people could make, I won't say mistake, but a misunderstanding there. So you have to see the total also individually. That is why we have given individual lobe-wise energy also we have given. And the second point I wanted to say for the general learning of the participant is higher the emulative percent, more you are a product of the environment. Okay, so the emulative and stimulative percentages are an indicator of how much of the originality you are able to retain. That means how much you are a product of the surroundings. And because you are 100% effective, you are brought up by supported by your brother and the family members. And of course, when you got married as a young female and then you took your career choices and went through everything that you have encountered has shaped you. And because you are a right brainer, the shaping is more than 100%, I will say. Left brainers, because their ego is slightly on the higher side, sometimes they want to not to get influenced. But you being more right brain in 4 compartments, with the 4 compartments right brain, you have imbibed more from the people surroundings that you have got grown up. So you are a product more by your challenges, by your environment, by your family situations. You have been shaped more by the environment. And because you are left temporally strong and your episodic memory is strong, this is not a great combination for communicating with people where time specific timeline is set for speaking. For example, somebody says you talk for 30 minutes, you will prepare for 30 minutes, but without your knowledge, you will end up in talking for 45 minutes because episodic memory gives you open space and the left temporal gives the content. That means you are so much of information, sometimes a lot of repetitions also come, but you are not able to know what is the repetition I am making because for you, it will look like I am talking enough and whatever is required when you are speaking because you are episodic. Had you been converging in the left frontal, then this time what you have taken, in spite of being moderate, would have been little less in terms of time, the duration that you have taken. Episodic memory and a left brain converging on the temporal lobe is a factor or a phenomenon that people need to be little conscious about the timeline. So I would say you should have prepared for 40 minutes and then you have ended up in 50 minutes or 55 minutes is all right. So be conscious. Otherwise, like your doctor said, Your client also will say, Madam, please tell me what I have to do. Sometimes people want a precise answer. They are not interested in talking to beating around the bush kind of thing. Okay, that's something you may have time to speak, but the client should have time to speak. So what you should do is, whenever you take a report for interpretation, if they are left brainer, you should ensure that you don't take a very long time for conversation. But somebody is a right brainer, then you break the counseling into 2 sessions, one now and one after a week or 10 days, so that the total time is still managed and you don't take too long at a stretch, which is not also a great idea for anyone and everyone. That's one thing. And the other point I wanted to tell is, because you chose science group, mathematics, physics, chemistry group for your for your 12th standard, that is the PUC, you had to fail, and that's because of wrong choice. And you said that your brother put them there. That's something that has gone, and because of that only you had to choose an arts group. Otherwise, you could have chosen a commerce group and gone into directly literature. If there was no humanities group directly, in those days there was no humanities group. Okay, there was only 3 groups. You take engineering, you take medical, or you take the commerce group. So you could have taken even a biology group, but still the physics and chemistry is going to be there. I do agree, because you are a right brainer, your ability to pick up new language takes a lot of time. But I think good thing you did in life is taking literature. And please remember, left temporal strong, English literature is a very good choice for children to study. So though you have taken literature, for what reason you took, I don't know. But ultimately you have taken a right this thing. And having done your education in Tamil medium and be a teacher in a government school, your English delivery is quite good. And you should thank to your left temporal for this confidence and fluency in your in the language that is English in it. Okay. And the another point I wanted to say is, you said God should have given you more blue bars. No, life is not like that. Okay. Okay. That's, I would say, it is the problem is not with a blue bar. The problem is that you are too much right brain in 4 compartments of your brain. The right prefrontal, right frontal, right parietal, right visual, 4 compartments being on the right side, you can see the diverging percentage is so much. So because of diverging, you had to, your difficulty came not because of the blue bar alone. The blue bars are quite good enough. Because you are a right brainer, that growth mindset is not coming. The static mindset, the comfort zone mindset is more predominantly seen. But I would say, thanks to that left temporal, you took up teacher's job and your qualities and talents got naturally elevated and expressed because of the compulsion of the profession. So thanks to your left temporal, you got into the teaching, and because of the left temporal, you enjoyed communicating. Because of that, your interactive domain in the adult learning has helped you to achieve whatever experience and appreciations that you could achieve in life, thanks to the left temporal. Because of the left temporal, you are able to give this presentation. Otherwise, you would have not even tried speaking, because of the right brain people don't project themselves, and your left temporal has made you to project through your verbal communication. And last but not the least is the right parietal energy is good, the left temporal energy is good. Those who are attending the morning session would know this combination is excellent for writing books. So you should write a book, and you are writing a book. If you are writing it, please go ahead and do that. Your creative writing part, the content part, content writing is coming very nicely. I will give you a basic book in Tamil that I wanted to write, and my right parietal is not strong, so I could not create that artistic presentation of a book. Okay, that is putting together your what you want to tell, and in like a cooking, the information is called writing a book. Okay, because your right parietal is cooking and your left temporal is content, it's a great combination together. I will give you some basic work I have done. I want you to write a Tamil book or English book for parents. Okay, the language that parents will understand, school children will understand. It should be a handbook for genetic brain profiling, very basic. And as Tejvi said and Bona said, you have got the basic understanding good enough to connect and communicate with parents and teachers that you have got. Now you should write what you spoke today as a book by putting them in an orderly way. If you can do that, I think you will be able to publish a book, and that would be a great gift to the whole MiDNA family. You should write in English also, then you should write in Tamil also, so that both versions are available. Same book, but the language only is changed. And I'm sure I'm waiting for Pankaj to write it in Hindi. So altogether, we will have multiple languages, same genetic brain profiling, so that we need not sit and discuss with the parents who cannot understand certain level of interaction information. So they can go home and read the book, and that will be a great source for their further learning as well. So I am concluding this session with a congratulations on completing this work. And yes, you will take some time, more time, but I think you should find time to write a book on English and Tamil genetic brain profiling. And before your self-discovery 2.0, I want to have those two books, handbook. It need not be even 100 pages. Even if it is 40 pages, 50 pages, 60 pages, I have written a book for around 45, 50 pages. I will give the book, you read, and you make it a book, maybe probably 86, 90 pages, like Vaipadu, and that should be good enough for Kalkanda book kind of size is good enough, so that all the parents and children who cannot really, understand high level neuroscience, they're still able to understand at a basic level. I think you should be able to deliver that. And then before your self-discovery 2, this is a task I am giving it to you, because you have to work on your deadlines, because you don't set any deadlines. I am setting you the deadline and I want you to connect. So let me see how many days you take. But without the book, you are not giving yourself Discovery 2.0. That's the condition and that's the goal that I have set. Okay. So all the very best, Maheswari. You have done a good job.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir,
yeah.
for placing so much confidence in me. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay. So I thank all the family members for having patiently heard the whole session. Take care. Bye-bye. See you next week with another self-discovery session. Till that time,